the Radio Forest podcast.
Hi, Forrest. I'm doing all right. I'm getting a little bit hoarse because I've been chatting away to some of your kindred fellow Americans. But there you go. We'll get there. I'm going to have a quick sip of the...
Sounds good. I'll have a little bit of my coffee too. How about that?
Oh, good for you. So where are you?
I'm in Boise, Idaho. Have you ever been out this way?
I've heard of it. I might have been. I've been across the States. I did a couple of little tours. I did a pretty cool acoustic tour, double header with me and Sylvain, just me and him driving around. And
yeah,
we went all over up the East Coast and up to Chicago and Ohio way. Maybe we went through your way. I'll tell
That's
you one
awesome.
thing with Sylvain, he was a lovely guy, but don't let him drive.
Hey, the Rolling Stones have a new album coming out this summer. Are you pretty excited? Have you talked to Ronnie Wood?
I haven't spoken to Ronnie Wood about that. But well, we'll see. Check it out. You know.
Yeah. And we're here to talk about your new autobiography that's now a documentary coming out May 29th. I Was a Teenage Sex Pistol. I thought it was fantastic. You had like Billy Idol in there and Blondie and a whole bunch of people. Was there anybody that you wanted to get into the documentary that you reached out to that couldn't?
There was a couple of people I invited, but you know, over the years, there's people who are friends with other people who used to be in the band, and there's a little bit of kind of politics involved with things, yeah. So,
sure.
I mean, I asked Chrissy Hine, but my people asked her people to. But I know she's big mates with John, so it's kind of,
yeah,
you know, there's that. So I would have liked to. In fact, I'm friends with Kathy Valentine, who's not long moved to England from Go-Go's, and she said, well, you could have had more women in it. Well, I did ask a few women, but they didn't. But I'm really pleased with the quality and calibre of people who've stepped up to blow smoke up my backside, really, in a public way. So there's no complaints there.
Did you reach out to Johnny Rotten at all? How's that relationship?
No, I didn't reach out to John. There's a lot of water under the bridge there. He's had his piece said many, many times over. This is my chance to shine and even twinkle a little bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, let bygones be bygones.
And you dedicated it at the end there to Wayne Kramer, MC5. Can I just ask why, I guess? What's your relationship with him throughout the years?
Well, I didn't know Wayne very well, but I did know him. I liked Wayne. I was, a fan of what he's done over the years and the stance he's taken. Dedicated to Wayne and also Clem Burke, if you've got the latest version, because it was probably the last interviews they did before they passed away. Wayne died about a week after he did that interview. And Clem, not much later either. So it's kind of a little tribute, really.
I've always wanted to ask you because I've talked about this on the radio before, and I think I've played the audio clip. But in your documentary, you know, you've got a lot of references to the Faces and T-Rex and Bowie and Queen. There's some footage of Queen and talking about you guys running into each other. But I've always played a quote on the air of Freddie saying that he called Sid Vicious Simon Ferocious or something like that back in the day.
I wasn't there at the time, but yeah, there you go. I tell you what, though, when we was recording Anarchy in the UK, Queen were actually good to us. They were on the same label as us, EMI at the time, and we needed to get in quickly to the studio, and they stopped recording and let us have their studio time, which was great. And it's a studio called Wessex, and they had a big room where you do the live bits. And then there was a smaller room where we was doing vocals and overdubs and things. And Queen went back in the big room. Now, one day I was in the studio and I opened the door and there's Freddie Mercury at the keyhole listening. And I went, Freddie. And he went, where's the bathroom? I said, mate, you've only been in here a month. It's just right behind you. But he could have just knocked and said, could I come in?
Yeah.
It was fine.
And how big were they at the time? Because then this is late 70s, right? So Queen is Queen.
They'd already done Bohemian Rhapsody by then.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't my favourite. But do you know what? I used to have an argument with John. Me and Steve said we didn't like Bohemian Rhapsody, but we liked the bit at the end where it rocks out. And John thought we shouldn't be allowed to just like one bit of a song, and he was really quite.
That's the punk, yeah.
Like one bit of a song, you have to like it all or not. But I like stuff like Seven Seas of Rye. That's kind of cool.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah. Now, speaking of Anarchy in the UK, off the top of my head, there are 3 big covers. I wanted to know if maybe you'd rank them, or maybe just see which one you kind of have heard and enjoyed. Of course, there was Megadeth, there was Motley Crue, and then the band Green Jelly did kind of a little bit of a spoof, but in their own style, not making fun of the band.
Right. Green Jelly did see the ducks sitting on the water, didn't they?
Yeah.
I like that one by them.
Yeah.
Megadeth, I saw them. My lady friend at the time, she was a PR girl, and I went to see her at the Monsters of Rock festival where she was working. And Megadeth, I didn't know who was on. I wasn't that really interested. And I was standing in the middle of the crowd, and they were singing Anarchy in the UK, and they got the words wrong. And it was kind of funny because nobody recognised me back then. And there's all these kind of grebos, we call them. They're like kind of people who sort of tractor drivers and mechanics who live out of town with their leather jackets, you know, drinking cider and then throwing the remnants of the cider, let's put it that way, you know. And I'm like, I didn't like that very long. But the version I really like of Anarchy in the UK is on the Rock and Roll Swindle album. A French guy called Jeremy or Jersemy does an accordion version and walks down.
Really? I haven't heard that.
Check it out. It's cool, you know.
That's awesome.
I do like a bit of accordion. So
I wonder if Dave from Megadeth ever knew that you were in the crowd, because I had read that he couldn't understand all of the original lyrics, so he just kind of made them up on spot. So that's the rumor I had heard.
Well, do you know what? I think that's probably what he did from what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking again about your documentary, and it's pretty close to the book. I mean, that's a pretty good outline. Did that make it easier, or was it harder to figure out what parts to focus on? Because you just don't have time to do the entire book, right?
Not really. I mean, you can't change it. The story is the story, you know. I mean, I know John put out 2 kind of autobiography life stories, and you can only have one, you know. Maybe you can address some issues, but the story is a story. It can't change it too much. I mean, the difference is it's a different shape or form, with lots of people, as we've mentioned, kind of stepping up with their take on it, you know, to help tell the story. I'm pretty pleased when it came out. I mean, I was involved with the making of it. I was involved with suggesting people to go and see. I obviously did my interviews with the filming. I trusted the guys. We'd have discussions. But I had to watch it, and I didn't want to watch it because it's like that, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to see your own stuff.
And the thing is, you know, what did you think when you finally saw it again, Glenn? I wish I'd had my hair trimmed.
Yeah. It was cool to see a lot of that old footage. I was surprised you guys could pull that much. It's amazing that there's that much out there, like even with the Vicious White Kids. How did that get recorded? I mean, did you know it was going to be a thing? So it was planned? That always blew my mind.
No, it's just people record things.
Someone recorded it.
You've got to have a good person for the company sleuthing stuff, you know, and then there's probably more, but then sometimes there's rights issues and things.
Sure.
Yeah, we found enough to do it, and hopefully enough that hadn't particularly been seen before to make it interesting. Even if you got stuff that has been seen before, it doesn't mean the person who's watching it has seen it before. So,
you
know.
And how are the emotions then going back to the Sex Pistols throughout the years, and even with 2026 getting back on the road and playing those songs? Now that you get some space and distance and you get to be yourself, probably never fully out of the limelight, but you kind of got to escape for a little while. How does that feel emotionally to be back with those guys?
Feels all right, really.
Yeah, natural.
I don't want to sound jaded, but, you know, we learned to play together. I think that's something to be celebrated. The 3 of us have got something in common that nobody in the rest of the world has. When we go in a room and plug in, we not only sound like, but we are the Sex Pistols, and then we're aged and abetted by Frank. It's something to be celebrated. We're getting paid well for it. I get to see the world. I kind of like to have done something newer as well to slot in there, but it's not necessarily what people want to watch. it's a double-edged sword because I do my own music and all, and it's nowhere as big as the Pistols, but I put a pretty good album out a couple of years back, which I wanted to go and promote. But what's it called? I even forget what the album's called now. But I was pleased with it. But then I got a phone call to join Blondie, and so I go back to do that. And hey, Glenn, come let's do some Sex Pistols shows. You can't say no. It's a high-class problem to have, And the only other thing with that is, I'm 69 3/4 now.
Yeah.
The sands of time and the hourglass are tripping through a little bit.
Sure.
I'm not fat and bald, or maybe lose a couple of pounds, but you think, I'll get back to what I'm doing afterwards, but will I? But it's great to be on tour with the Pistols.
Yeah. Well, you just got on the Rolling Stone 100 Greatest Punk Albums of All Time. You guys
but
number
I'm
7.
going to write in about that. 7. Blinking cheek.
Yeah, well, Nirvana's number 9, Nevermind, and so
but
that's a whole nother story.
They're not really punk, are they? They're grunge.
I don't think that album is. Maybe Bleach a little bit more, but not in the top 10. Not punk albums.
I don't know. They're punk albums. I tend to put on Tamla Motown Chartbuster Volume 5 when I'm at home with Allison, so I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the autobiography is out now. I Was a Teenage Sex Pistol. It's Glen Matlock from the Sex Pistols, now a documentary, open for a pre-order on Apple TV and out May 26th. Glen, hey, thanks for the chat today, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us. It's good. And also, I just mentioned that the documentary is based on my book, which is still available. If you look on Amazon, you can order it on that.
Sure. Yeah.
So, there you go.
All right, Glen, I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later, man.
There you go.
Bye-bye.